Come on, go to Matthew chapter 14. Matthew chapter 14. I get to shout into your ear what the Holy Spirit's been whispering into mine. I'm actually going to preach chapter 7 of my book, Brainwashed. I wrote a book last year, and I wrote a book entitled Brainwashed. You're going to get to know me pretty fast, actually. I'm going to be vulnerable with y'all. Don't judge me, okay? Planet Fitness, okay? No judgment zone. My dad is a Cuban immigrant to America. That's why I got the funky last name, okay, Arango, because my dad's Cuban. But my dad spent 18 years in prison. My dad actually took me to a crack house for the first time when I was 5 years old, okay? I don't look like what I've been through. Anyway, my mom was pregnant at the age of 12, had my older sister at the age of 13, was pregnant again at 14, had my older brother at the age of 15. All of my aunts are prostitutes. All of my uncles are alcoholics. Everyone in my family is either drug addicted or incarcerated or in bondage. I'm the first Arango to graduate from college. I'm the first Arango to get a master's degree. June 8th, 2024, I'll be the first Arango with a doctorate. I'm the first Arango to own property. I'm the first Arango to have children after marriage, not before. I'm the first Arango to preach this gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm the first Arango to be in ministry. I'm the first Arango to have employees. I'm the first Arango to sign the front of checks, not the back of checks. Because a generational curse only has power if you believe in it. I don't believe that I'm the son of a crackhead. I believe I'm the son of God. Therefore, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. I'm the head and not the tail. I'm above only and never beneath. There's no limitation on what God can do through me. And greater is he that is in me than he that's within the world. We take authority over every curse that is trying to keep you stuck. And we declare you're going to find freedom. You're going to discover your purpose. You're going to make a difference. God's got more in you than you're aware of. Woo! When you get to heaven, I did the whole growth track. Come on. Know God, find freedom, discover purpose, make a difference. Let's go. When you get to heaven, you are not going to be able to blame God for what. Ooh. You are not going to be able to blame your auntie or your uncle or your mother or your father for what you failed to do with your life. When you stand before your Creator, you cannot blame the people who abused you or neglected you or hurt you. You cannot control the cards that are in your hand, but you can control how you play those cards. You have no excuses. So I wrote this book, Brainwashed, to help people to overcome the hurdles in their mind. The majority of people who win millions of dollars via the lottery end up going broke. You know why? Because they never had a money problem, they had a mind problem. And so we want to get your mind free. And so I wrote this book called Brainwashed. There we go. Oh, there we go. There's a copy up here. Come on, there we go. Union Church, Charlotte, with the excellence, okay? I'll be in the lobby high-fiving people. You can grab a copy of this book. I think it'll bless your life. And I'm going to preach chapter 7 from this book today, okay? So chapter 7, let's go. Matthew chapter 14. Grab your Bible. Let's read the Bible. Come on, Matthew chapter 14. We're going to start reading in verse 22. And this monitor down here is just the bomb.com. Come on. There we go. Production team, let's go. Air 5, 1, 2, 3, boom. Immediately, Jesus made the disciples go into the boat and go on ahead of him to the other side while he dismissed the crowd. After he had dismissed them, he went up on a mountainside by himself to pray. Later that night, he was there, and the boat was already a considerable distance from land, buffeted by because the wind was against it. Shortly before dawn, Jesus went out to them walking on the lake. Just no big deal. Just walking on water. There's no obstacle for Jesus. He doesn't see the water and go, what am I going to do? I need to encourage somebody today because God is never in a catch-22. He's not thrown off guard. You're thrown off guard. The things that shock you and surprise you and make you scared have not shocked him. They've not surprised him. He is not scared. He can open up a way for you in the wilderness. He can split the Red Sea and kill the armies of Pharaoh behind you. Your back is never against the wall if you've got God on your side. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they were so excited. When the disciples saw him walking on the lake, they praised God because they had never seen a miracle like this. When the disciples started walking on the lake, they encouraged one another and said, "Can you believe what God is doing?" Oh, no, that's not what the Bible says. They were terrified, which tells me that the enemy is not the only one that brings fear. You could be in the middle of a miracle and be terrified. You could be in the middle of revival and be terrified. I ain't never been to a church like this. This makes me uncomfortable. Baby, buckle up. You're in revival. This is called a miracle. Whether or not you're comfortable or not is not what we're concerned with. Whether or not you are included in the miracle is what we are concerned with. You can be on the precipice of breakthrough and be terrified because it is unfamiliar. I've seen Jesus in boats. I've seen Jesus catch fish with us, but I ain't never seen him do this. Can I tell you, Jesus does not need permission from you to do something new and to do something strange and to do something weird and to make you uncomfortable. And a lot of the times we've been trained, especially in Pentecostal churches, if I'm scared, I'm going to rebuke the devil. Next time you're scared, rebuke your flesh. How about rebuke you? I don't need to rebuke the devil. I need to get in line with a new revelation of a new layer or a new dimension of what Jesus is capable of. We're just reading the Bible. It's a ghost, they said. I can imagine this conversation. You know, they're in the boat. Jesus! That you? I don't think that's Jesus. That's a ghost. You know what I'm saying? That's a ghost. I don't know if that's Jesus. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure. You know, and of course it's Thomas. And Judas. We're like, I think it's a ghost. Says, Judas, shut up. You don't know nothing, okay? So they're debating about the identity of Jesus. It's a ghost, they said, and cried out in fear. Jesus immediately said to them, take courage. Uh-oh. Don't complain about the people who discouraged you. Stop being hurt by the people who fail to encourage you. Your courage is your responsibility. Take courage. Come on, the kingdom of God suffereth violence, and the violent take it by force. You need some courage? You better take some courage. I'm going to get some courage today. Come on. Come on. We just read the Bible. Come on. Don't be afraid. Okay. Lord, if it's... Peter replied, tell to come to on the water. Jesus! Is that you? Peter! It's me! It's Jesus on the water. Come on out here. Jesus! When you learn how to walk on the water! Yeah, this is crazy. You see Jesus? Judas is in the boat like, it's a ghost. I don't believe it. It's a ghost. It's a ghost. Now, I need you to get this because Peter is now about to ask a pivotal question. He's going to make a pivotal statement. I don't want us to miss this. Lord, if it's tell to come to, this is what I call a security question. All Peter is trying to do is ascertain the identity of the person out there on the water. I don't know if you've ever signed up for one of these websites that requires a security question. I travel a lot. And so anytime I'm in Charlotte, Chrome, I put in the right username, I put in the right password, but because I'm not in Dallas, Texas, they're like, well, we need additional verification. And I want to say back to the little website, you lucky I even know the password. I don't know first of all, I don't know if anybody's like me. I didn't know the answers to these security questions when I made them. What is your grandmama's maiden name on your daddy's side? I have never met this woman. I do not know. Where was your great uncle born? What city is your roommate from college from? I do not know. I didn't know the answers when I made the answers. I was guessing then, and I'm guessing now. I do what any husband does when they can't figure out the answer to the security question. Ask my wife. Baby, what's my grandmama's maiden name? Get this, it's a security question. Think about the security questions that also could have worked in this scenario. Because all Peter's trying to do is to ascertain the identity of the being that he is conversing with. Come on, let's walk through this. Jesus! Is that you? Peter! It's me! If it's you, what we ate for breakfast 3 days ago? That would have done the trick. Come on, don't act like you ain't never asked God no security questions. What I have learned is that your security question reveals more about your identity than it reveals anything about Jesus' identity. Let us break down Peter's security question. Jesus, if it's tell to get out of this boat. Peter has walked with Jesus long enough to know that the number one way to ascertain the identity of Jesus is that Jesus will not be content to let me spectate the miraculous. Jesus wants me to participate in the miraculous. So Peter understands if that's really Jesus, he is going to empower me to leave my comfort zone. He's going to empower me to leave my boat. Jesus, if that's you, tell me to make a move. Jesus, if it's you, tell me to abandon fear. Jesus, if it's you, tell me to get uncomfortable. I'm about to step on some toes. Jesus, if it's you, you're not the one who has anything to prove here. I'm the one who has something to prove here. I'm not cross-examining you. You are actually cross-examining my faith and my maturity and my wisdom. Jesus, if it's you, tell me to do something about the fact that I've seen you. If it's you, tell me to make a decision. If it's you, I'm not going to be content to watch the video about Serve Day. I want to be a part of the next Serve Day. I'm not here to consume. I'm here to contribute. If it's actually you, then I have to get out of my boat, and I've got to do something about the fact that you are here. Here's the kind of security questions we ask, though. Jesus, is that you? Yeah, it's me. Then bless me. Jesus, is that you? It's me. Give me a new job. Your pastor's doing a relationship series. The relationship series is convicting you because we're just giving you basic, normal stuff like don't date heathens. Nothing spectacular, nothing revolutionary, nothing revelatory. Don't even have to pray about it. Just don't date heathens, No need to even seek God about that one. Just, it's right there in the Bible. No uncircumcised Philistines, what I'm saying? Just don't date heathens, God, I've been listening to this service series. Pastor Brian had told me to break up with this man that don't got no job. Who doesn't know God. Who has not found freedom. Who has not discovered his purpose and is not making a difference. Pastor Brian had told me to break up with him. God, is that you? Jesus answered back, yeah, that's me. And if it's you, have them break up with me first. Because I don't have the courage to break up with them. You better take courage. We all have a security question. And most of the times, our security question puts pressure on Jesus to perform. When actually, his ability to walk on water is an invitation for you to do something. A lot of us think we're waiting on God, and I'm here to tell you, you are not waiting on God. God is waiting on you. He's waiting on you to make a move. He's waiting on you to find some courage. He's waiting on you to find faith. So Peter says to Jesus, if that's you, then I know that now the ball's in my court. If that's actually you, then now it's up to me. Ooh, 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 ooh. Are you ready? Can we go deeper? To leave a boat that's not broken. Because anybody can leave a boat that's broke. It takes real faith to get up out of a boat that 11 other people are content to stay in. It's a whole other thing to quit your job that everybody else in your family will be happy to have. It's a whole other thing altogether to leave stuff that looks secure. It's one thing to leave something that's broken. It's a whole other thing to leave stuff that looks like it's great on the outside, but there's something on the inside of you that has outgrown the thing that you are abandoning. There's a whole other deal altogether to leave stuff that looks awesome. You know what's crazy? God ain't never told me to leave nothing that was broke. Quit your job. What'd you say, Jesus? I quit my job in December 2019. December of 2000. God said, I'm going to open up a door. You're going to speak at a different church every Sunday. You're going to get booked for conferences. He did not mention a pandemic. He just left that part out, just conveniently omitted that part. I had benefits, I had a salary, I had a great job, had a phenomenal job, and when I left the job, all of my coworkers on the job were like, I think something's wrong with you. I mean, this job is great, and I went, this job is great for you, but there's something in me. There's faith on the inside of me. There's something that wants more. I'm not content with this. There's something in me that knows that I get into a bigger pot, I'll grow more fruit. There's something in me that knows that if I jump out into a bigger tank, that something's gonna grow on the inside of me. My last church wasn't broke. I'm just at a new church now. Because why? I've got something more on the inside of me. And I don't need to talk trash about what I left. What I left is great. It ain't broke, but it just don't fit me no more. For some of us, the boat's got to break for you to leave it. The dude's got to cheat on you with receipts to prove it. But God told you to break up with him 2 years ago. God told you to break up with this dude before the boat ever sank. Can I help us? For a lot of us, we think that the boat provides safety. The boat is not what provides safety. His word is what provides safety. So if he's called me out of the boat, I'm safer obeying his word in the middle of discomfort and unpredictability than I'm safe in the middle of a boat, because my faith is not in a vessel. My faith is in the God who can speak and make the water a solid surface beneath my feet. Here we go. You get out the boat. And Peter starts walking on water. I can't believe I'm doing this. Jesus! And then the inevitable happens. And Peter got down out of the boat, walked on the water, and came towards Jesus. But when he saw the wind, how do you even see wind? That's a whole other sermon series. Okay, come on. He was afraid and beginning to sink, cried out, Lord, save me. Verse 31, immediately, Jesus reached out his hand and caught him. Now, here we go. Because sometimes I'll challenge the young adults at our church. I'm like, you need to start tithing. Stop tipping God and start tithing. Stop that. Just how you come to church with Balenciagas on, you don't tithe. Stop flexing. Start tithing. How about that? Start tithing. Start tithing. Can I take a little detour? Can I tell you how I got my dad to start tithing? My dad, who was on drugs. One time, my dad, me and Pastor Brown, we grew up at this church called Jubilee Christian Church in Boston, Massachusetts. And one time, it was a pretty big church. And, people always got stuff to say about mega churches. And my dad, who was straight out the streets. I mean, my dad took me to a crack house at 5, okay? That was the first time. That wasn't the last time, okay? So, is this too hood for y'all? It's too hood? I didn't know I was at a bougie church. I thought I was... All the Pharisees, you were dismissed. Come on, all the real people, let's go. And so my dad started coming to church when I was like 15, 16 years old. My dad started coming to church. And so one day my dad wandered out the front doors and wandered around the parking lot, and he saw that our pastor had a Mercedes, that Bishop Thompson had a Mercedes. And then my dad looked at me. Now, what you don't know is that I started preaching when I was 12. Okay, and so by the time I'm 16, I got 4 years of preaching under my belt, and my tongue's a little sharp. Okay, so my dad looks at me and he says, see, that's why I don't tithe. That's why I don't give. That's why I don't tithe, because, see, the pastor got a Mercedes. See, I ain't paying for no man to have no Mercedes-Benz. I looked at my dad. I probably shouldn't have said this. This is not the most respectful, honorable thing. If there's any teenagers in the room, don't do as I do. Do as I say, okay? I shouldn't have said this. I looked at my dad, and I was like, the drug dealer in our neighborhood also drives a Mercedes that you paid for. If you was his only client, he'd still have a Mercedes because you buy that much crack. What are we talking about? How are you generous in the world and then stingy with God? How that work? How in the world are you irresponsible with your money as long as you were sowing it into your flesh? But the moment we try to get you to find freedom, discover purpose, and make a difference, now all of a sudden you became a mathematician. What in the world are we talking about? Bro, you go to the club every week. You smoke 2 packs of cigarettes almost every other day. If we were to just get you to stop sinning, holiness would save you a lot of money. What do you mean? I ain't trying to pay for nobody Mercedes. You done bought a lot of Mercedes, actually. But as long as you were sowing into your flesh, you didn't even count the cost. Here's my challenge. Whatever energy you had in the world, keep that same energy. Don't be next round on me, but not come in here like next outreach on me. If you're going to come in here, keep that same energy. Keep all of that same energy. If you was an evangelist for ratchetness, please don't be in here all silent and quiet. Be an evangelist for some holiness, please. Keep that same energy. Don't switch it up. Back to my point. Young adults will ask me, well, if I start tithing, can you give me a guarantee that nothing bad will happen? I can't give you no guarantees. That's not how this faith thing works. Here's what I can tell you. Jesus will definitely let you sink, but he will not let you drown. The moment that Peter starts to sink, Jesus goes, oh, okay, cool. I went from helping you walking on water to pulling you out of the water, and I am totally okay with that. I will help you walk on this water, but let you sink. I will pull you up out of this water. And sometimes we want God to prevent us from even sinking in the first place, but God says, a little bit of failure is actually good for your faith. You actually need some lessons. You need to learn some stuff. Actually, I've allowed certain things to happen in your life so that you don't just know me as the God who can keep you above the water, but you also know me as the God who can rescue you from the depths of the sea. I don't just want to be one-dimensional in your life. I want to be the God who's the I am that I am. And here's where I announce my title. Because, here we go, give me the next verse. This is verse 31. Verse 32, And when they climbed into the boat, they start in the boat. Jesus, is that you? Yeah, it's me. Oh, if it's you, then the pressure's on me. I'll walk on the water. I'll face my fears. I'll overcome my flesh. I'll do whatever I got to do to get to you, because you are the place of safety, not the stuff that I believe in. Not my job, not the stuff that I've accumulated, not the house. That's not the place of safety. You're the place of safety. And dang it, I got to you, and it feels like life is worse. Because as long as I was in the boat, I was dry. Now I'm out here with you, soaking wet. But I've learned that you are my salvation. Oh, I may not look as impressive as I looked when I was in the boat, but I got some wisdom on me now, and I've walked by faith, and you've let me live enough life, and you've saved me, and you've rescued me. But then the Bible says they get back in the boat. And my question is, how do they get back to the boat? The title of my message today is The Walk Back. I've heard a lot of sermons on the first time Peter's walked on the water. But I have never heard a sermon about the second time Peter walked on the water. And there are some of you in the room, you've had faith before, but God needs you to have faith again. You've had hope before, but God needs you to have hope again. You've believed him and you've taken risks before, but you need to stop remembering the former things. You need to stop relying on the things that God has done in your life 5 years ago. Your faith has been on cruise control, and I came to put jumper cables to your faith and tell you, you need to believe again and trust again and hope again and have faith again and risk again. Because let me tell you what's harder than getting out the boat. Getting out the water. When you get out the boat, you got blind optimism. Let me get up out this boat. Ain't nothing gonna happen. God's got it. Ain't nothing but, whoa! And then the worst thing that could ever happen happens. You quit your job, and then 3 months later, Tom Hanks get COVID. And you sink. And the job that I quit, that pastor asked me, you want to get your job? You want your job back? And I remember saying, nah, I've come too far to go back. Here we go. Me and my wife struggled with infertility for 5 years. Got married. I was like, hey, I think I'm handsome. You definitely fly. The world needs more black babies running around. You know what I'm saying? So let's do this. Let's stop practicing. Let's get in the game, okay? This has been fun. Let's do this. And a year of trying to have kids, no kids. 2 years of trying, no kids. Finally went to the doctor. The doctor alerted us that we would never have kids. I love how they made a whole definite statement. They didn't say that, it's going to be difficult. Nope, immediately, you should adopt. We went to 4 different fertility clinics because I was on a search for a doctor with some faith. I didn't even need them to be a Christian, just needed them to have faith. Finally found a doctor who thought we had a chance of getting pregnant if we did in vitro fertilization. We're in the middle of a pandemic, and IVF was going to cost $20,000. We emptied out our savings account in February of 2020. What could happen? I mean, we got this money saved up. Ain't nothing bad gonna happen. Just empty the savings account. Let's do IVF because I want kids more than anything. I had the best day of my life and the worst day of my life. We empty our savings account. We're in the middle of a pandemic. I remember saying to my wife, I have no speaking engagements. There's no churches to go to. Every single conference is shut down. We got hit with 35 cancellations in 1 week. My whole way of generating income gone. But I said to my wife, the world is falling apart. Ain't no toilet paper. We ain't got no money. I'm Googling the difference between forbearance and whatever the other one is. But I said to my wife, but you are miraculously pregnant. So everything's good. Had the best day and the worst day back to back. I remember coming home from a preaching trip, and my wife had a big announcement for me. After 5 years of believing God, 5 years of infertility, we finally got out of the boat, spent all the money we had, and we were walking on water. It was the first positive pregnancy test we had ever seen. Only followed by being pulled into the depths of depression and anxiety because we go in for our first ultrasound and there's no heartbeat. I put myself out there, spent all the money we had. I was in so much shock when the nurse looked at us and said there's no heartbeat. I said, what does that even mean? And then she stopped using the word baby and started using the word fetal tissue. And we got to arrange a way for us to discard of the fetal tissue because this baby is not alive. Oh, now I've emptied the savings account, no speaking engagements, nothing is afloat in my life. And the one thing that was the glimmer of hope is gone. Oh, I don't know if you've ever been at the bottom of the sea. I've walked by faith. I've trusted. And God, how could you disappoint me like this? Come on, I want to give you permission to be human. God, I don't even know if I could preach for you no more. How are you not able to keep a heart beating? I'm angry. I'm mad. Can I tell you something? God can handle all your emotions as long as you're honest with him. Oh, all you got to do is read through the Psalms, and you'll find a man named David who expresses anger and depression, and he expresses everything because God says, I'm looking for people who will worship me in spirit and in truth. Don't hide your feelings. You worship me in spirit, but oh, you better worship me with some truth. If the truth is you're angry, go ahead and be angry. I'm okay with all your emotions. A couple months go by, my wife rose up and says, I want to do IVF again. Here's my response. There's no way I'm ever putting myself through that much pain ever again. And I think that's where a lot of us are. We're standing next to Jesus. We've been pulled out of the water. And Jesus is whispering to us, let's get back to the boat. Let's try again. And you're going, I will stay here with you. I ain't leaving you, but I will never risk again. Because trauma will keep you stuck with Jesus, but not taking any more risks in your life. And my wife said, I believe that if we had faith before, we can have faith again. I said, do you have another $20,000 hiding somewhere that I do not know about? And I made a bargain with God. If you send the money, I'll take a risk and do it again. A random check from Portland, Oregon showed up in my mailbox. Another check from Boston, Massachusetts showed up in my mailbox. A couple from North Carolina handed us $2,000 in cash. By the time I knew it, 2 weeks later, we had another $25,000. We got up out of the water and walked back to the boat. Is there a picture of my family? My son is about to turn 2 because I did not let pain and trauma and disappointment keep me with Jesus, but away from the promise. I came to declare to you, you need to get back to the boat. You're going to have faith again and hope again and believe again. You gotta get back. There's more in you. You can stay standing. There's more in you. There's more faith left in your tank. God's not done with you yet. Your ladder will be greater than your former. You can't stay here. You cannot stay here at the moment of failure, at the moment of defeat. You've got to put one foot in front of the other and get back to the boat, the walk back. I declare a second wind over you. I declare that God is going to begin to blow fresh wind in your sails. You've been playing it safe. You put your faith on cruise control, but you have yet to take hold of the promise that God has for you. And what you thought was a one-way trip is a round-trip journey. God says, I'm going to put some more courage in you so that you can get back to the boat. Wave at me if I'm preaching to you. Come on. You've had faith before. Maybe you were at a church before. You was walking on the water, you got church hurt. And now every time we give you an opportunity to volunteer, you're like, no, I'm just gonna attend. No, guess what? We need you to get out of your seat. We need you to actually participate. We need you to get involved. We need you to hope again, have faith again, trust again. With all heads bowed and all eyes closed, I actually want to make an invitation to you. I think this is the most important moment of the service. It's the invitation for those of us who don't identify as Christians. Maybe you're far from God. Maybe you don't even know if you know God. You want to make sure that you leave church today? Sure. We want you to know that you know that you know. I have a saving relationship with the Father. I know God. Maybe there's some things that you've done that you're ashamed of. Let me give you the gospel. Jesus died for you. He didn't just die for you, he died as you. Took your place on the cross so that you could walk in the fullness of freedom. God decided to treat his son like a sinner so that he could treat sinners as if they were blameless and sinless. It's the great exchange. If you're in the room today and you want a fresh start, I actually want to lead you in a prayer. If you're saying, Pastor Manny, I'd love to put everything you've said into practice, but I know the very first step that I need to take is to put my faith and put my trust into Jesus. If that's you today, can you just wave at me? Can you just wave at me? If you're saying, you know what? I need to get saved. I see your hand. I see your hand. If you need to get saved, if you're saying, you know what? I need a second chance on life. I need salvation. I want us all to pray this prayer together. Come on, everybody in the room. Jesus, thank you for saving me, for loving me. I declare with my mouth and I believe in my heart that Jesus is Lord. And I confess that I am a new creation in Christ. The old has gone and the new has come. I'm a believer. From this day forward, I give you my life. If it's your first time praying that prayer or your first time in a long time, we rejoice with heaven and we believe that you got a new start today. Come on, Union Church, can you give God a shout of praise?